Hello and welcome back to Learn It from a Layman. I am Carl Christensen, joined tonight by Matt. And we are doing another top 10 type list. I'd say the vast majority of our podcasts, Matt, are pretty objective, pretty, at least we strive to be pretty accurate and educational. This podcast, well, hopefully somewhat educational, will is much more of the subjective nature.
Yeah, we're kind of going back to our roots. I mean, we try for education, which is not something that we consistently succeed at, or like, no, we're not
Yeah.
objectively objective either, but we at least try. But we weren't always like that. We tried to be kind of, what's the word? Entertaining,
That's
more
right.
entertainment first at the beginning. And it was,
A horrible failure.
yeah,
So
that's the word.
we're so what we're
Failures,
doing
right?
now is we're doing a combination. So I have done research into the topics that we're talking about tonight, but it is a top 10 list, very subjective in nature, which Matt has already uh, expressed his
Yeah, it's
dismay in no
subjectively
uncertain
wrong.
terms. Well, okay, we'll see about that. Okay, the list that we're looking at tonight, and yes, it is my own personal list, is the 10 worst creatures.
In
Now,
nature.
correct.
And we're talking about non-human creatures. So yes,
correct.
I could put, Mao Zedong or Joseph Stalin in there and alienate a portion of our audience that I don't care about alienating, but we're talking specifically non-human creatures.
Correct. And yes, the word worst is by nature subjective. So, is it most deadly? No. Is it ugliest? No. Those are different lists. But they both play a role in being the worst. So, let's dig in. What?
Well, do you want to talk about some of the criteria a little bit
Yeah,
more
sure.
in depth? I mean, ugly is one, deadly
Ugly
is
is
sometimes one.
correct.
Usefulness. Some animals or creatures exist just for the sake of making life worse for other creatures. Whereas, a
That's true.
llama might spit on you, which is obnoxious, but you can turn a llama into a rug. So who
Right.
actually
So super
wins?
useful.
Yeah.
No, that isn't specifically one of the well, you know what? That is one of the things I kind of
It's
considered.
going to be
For
one
example,
now.
one of the, I guess, honorable mentions for the list, which didn't make the final cut, but was a wasp. Wasps are only useful in the way that they are a part of the food chain. Um,
Uh-huh.
they have no other service. Like they do nothing. They're worthless, and they're dangerous. So they were honorable mention. They also look kind of creepy, but yeah. I'd say one of the main things that I considered when making this list is the like likelihood that you're going to ever have interaction with something on this list. Um,
Okay. So
so
likelihood of
like
exposure?
right, like the anglerfish,
Huh.
that thing is nightmarish,
Yeah.
but it's like 1,000 feet deep in the ocean. Like
Yeah. Well, I
who's
mean, some of our listeners might be down there.
Right. Yeah,
Plus,
we're big
we
news
we
in the scuba diving community.
we had a
Um,
committee that we talked to about this, and the anglerfish is actually pretty metal. So
this list was not vetted by any committee.
I know.
So
But that's one of the criteria as well. If the creature is metal, then it gets more of a pass.
okay.
Whereas if it's just kind of
Um,
there and still horrible, but so lame,
correct.
then
Yeah. Yeah. So ugliness, deadliness, just kind of nightmarishness, even like well, we'll get those are all elements in this list. But let's go ahead and dig in because I'm sure more elements of why I put particular creatures in particular spots will come to light as we
they'll be
discuss. So
apparent. Okay.
okay, yes. So number 10 is kind of like a tie. I'm cheating already. Like literally the first one I'm cheating. But I put lamprey officially, but leeches and lamprey I don't know.
Well, now
Either,
you've spoiled
both.
what
Pick
number
'em.
9 is.
Well, no, leeches was also honorable mention.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So lamprey. If you don't know what a lamprey is, it's a fish, kind of.
It's a
It's a
parasitic fish.
It's a exactly. It's a parasitic fish. Now, the word parasitic, like, certainly already brings you into consideration for this list. Being too small of a parasite kind of loses the nightmarish factor. It's like,
You're just trying to justify a thing that's going to become an argument later on.
Potentially, yes. But a lamprey is a funnel-like, it's like an eel-like fish without a jaw. And yes, it feasts on the flesh of other fish. Okay, that's not that
But
big of
its
a deal.
mouth is like
so
sandwormy looking.
exactly. Like if you look up
Dune.
lamprey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way that
exactly.
they eat, spice harvesters, that's what lampreys do to like the skin of larger fish or sharks or whatever.
Yeah, and they are pretty widespread around the world. There are different families of them, but lampreys, it says they live mostly in coastal and freshwater areas, and some temperate regions. They're in the Great Lakes, for example, in the United States. They're in Britain. They're in the River Thames. Anyway, but there's a good chance that you're going to not hopefully
no,
directly
there's not a good chance. There is a non-zero chance that you
there's a non-zero chance,
yeah,
even if you're not a scuba diver, that will come in contact with a lamprey in some fashion at some point in your life.
Right, but the way that you avoid coming into contact with a parasitic doom worm fish is to never go in the water, which, as we know from all those movies, is what you should be doing anyway. Water is going to be kind of a theme. Turns out going into water exposes you to some of the worst creatures in the entire world.
That is true. It is, it is a scary habitat.
Yeah. Never go to the ocean or the river.
So part of the reason that lampreys are freaky for so many reasons. Their mouth is like number one. If you Google it and look at it for long enough, you will have a nightmare. You will not sleep well. You'll have cold sweats. It's so bad.
Thing. Never go on to Google either. That's just exposing yourself to trauma that you don't need.
That's true. But they also have 4 eyes. And it's the only vertebrate animal to have 4 eyes.
I didn't know that.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. What do they need them all for? They don't have to see very far.
I don't know.
They're just munching along with whatever thing they're parasiting.
Yeah. But yeah, that's anyway. We won't belabor the lamprey any longer.
Okay, the lamprey is pretty horrible.
It's pretty bad.
A parasite that lives in water and ruins aquatic experiences.
Exactly, which is it. Leeches also. I mean, they're so.
Hey, they didn't make the list. Let's stay focused.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. They were honorable mention.
Although
okay, we're moving on.
Should have, because they were worse than lampreys.
Okay, number 9. This one is controversial. So it's mosquitoes.
That's not controversial. Well,
it's
okay.
The fact controversial that it's a number 9. Yeah, you'd think it would be higher, because if you've ever stopped and look at the mosquito as it's sucking your blood, it's also incredibly ugly. Also, it's sucking your blood. So, and that's what they live to do, right? They live to feast on the blood of the innocent, which really should.
It's the blood of anything. But,
yeah. And they kill more humans than any other animal, which once again is kind of, they kill. It's not like you have a mosquito bite that will actually drain all of your blood and therefore bleed you out. Yeah. It's the diseases that they carry.
Well, and this is you're gonna be more or less susceptible to mosquito-related death depending on what part of the world you're in, what diseases your local mosquitoes are carrying, what types of medicines are available to you.
Right.
North American mosquitoes are comparatively benign. They're all over the place and we hate them, but they're generally not as bad. African mosquitoes with some of the diseases. I think malaria is the #1 killer, right?
I think that's true. I'm trying to find that information right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe so.
You were really well prepared for this one, huh?
I've got it right here. Okay. So oh my gosh, this is insane. 700 million people get a mosquito-borne illness every year.
700 million. That's a lot of
700
illnesses.
million.
Yeah. And out of
which
that.
Yeah, so 725,000 deaths every year.
Okay, so almost 750,000 fatalities based on mosquito-related death. Well, that's pretty good. So, Carl, hearing all of that and how they're the most lethal of critters, why aren't they ranked higher?
That's a good question.
They're lethal. They serve no purpose at all. They're absolutely not metal. I don't care if they suck blood. The amount of blood that they suck is so minuscule that it's not going to make any kind of, cover album.
Yeah, so the reason that they're not higher on this list
is because the remaining entries are worse?
Not necessarily.
Oh, I love our objective subjectivity. We should go on to number.
Hold on, I've got to give a reason that people have to understand. The listeners care. The reason that
the listeners care.
They do. The reason that mosquitoes are 9 and not higher on the list is they're ubiquitous. They're everywhere. You've experienced them probably within the last week.
So because humanity is used to the terror and the death and the pain.
Yes.
Because they just don't have that exotic flair.
Correct. Yes, exactly.
It's required to break into the top 5. So everything from here on out will be some kind of exotic or special or unusual critter.
That's kind of.
All right, let's go on. I'm excited.
All right, here we go.
Number 8.
Number 8 is the crocodile.
Crocodile.
Yes.
All right. For a North American, that's pretty exotic.
Yeah. So, crocodiles are. I mean, sure. Are they likely to kill you? No.
It depends on where you are. If you're where crocodiles live and you're in the water by the crocodile, yeah, he will absolutely chomp on you. But we did kind of go over this. Like with the lamprey, there's an easy solution. Never, ever go into water ever again. Mosquitoes can hit you wherever. Plus, crocodiles are considerably more metal. I'm still struggling with the justification of how the crocodile is ranked as worse than the mosquito.
It's because, this one, once again, if you're familiar with the muvies, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, any of those dinosaur movies, they're
familiar with dinosaurs, yes.
Exactly. And the idea of introducing a dinosaur into civilization as we know it now is so terrifying that you can make blockbuster movies about it essentially without end. I think they're going to be making Jurassic World 2099.
So its dinosaurness is what makes it okay.
That's correct.
Now, Florida Man would disagree with you because Florida Man looks at the dinosaur the same way that he looks at the mosquito. It's just, it's there. It's part of my existence down here. I deal with it.
Correct. It is.
But then again, neither of us live in Florida, and this is your list.
Exactly. Well, so of course, some percentage of the world's population has interaction with any of these creatures all the time.
Yeah.
But not all of the world's population has interaction with one of these creatures all the time, except for mosquitoes.
Well, those from Iceland would disagree with you there. But well, they don't have crocodiles up in Iceland either. But they have lampreys.
Right. Well, but yeah, scarcity does matter, and crocodiles, while not incredibly scarce, are also not as widespread as mosquitoes. And so, yeah, the dinosaurness.
I will very grudgingly allow it.
All right. Grudgingly allowed. I did find out that the crocodiles kill hundreds of people every year.
Are they again, I think most crocodiles are found on the African continent. Is there any other megafauna down in Africa that's more lethal than a crocodile?
Um, what did you say? Megathon? What?
Megafauna, big
Oh,
critter.
well, it turns out as I was doing the research for this podcast, elephants can be quite dangerous, but they're actually quite snuggly. So I can't put them on
Nobody
the list.
snuggles with elephants.
Well, they should.
Okay.
Not on my list, I can tell you that.
How
My
about
wife
the
would be
hippo?
so upset. She loves elephants. Hippos were considered. They were strongly considered, and then eventually
They are
tossed.
considerably
Because
more deadly than a crocodile, in case
I mean, they
anyone was
don't have that
wondering.
many teeth. It's like it doesn't even
Well,
look
that's
that
the
scary.
worst part. They can still kill
Well,
you
that's
without.
true. Oh yeah, they'll just snap you like a twig. But there has to be some degree of scariness. It's like the Green Hornet. If you've never seen the Green Hornet movie, there's a scene near the beginning where the old like mob boss is going to meet this new guy, and the new guy is telling him why he's not scary. And yeah, anyway, so that's kind of the point. Like if you're not scary, you can't make this list. And hippos, I mean, come on.
That's possibly why they're so deadly. Also, if you've ever been charged by one, I defy you to tell me it's not scary.
That's fair. My lack of interaction probably it's a naive list, but whatever.
But
I
it's
made
your
it.
list.
That's
All right.
correct.
I will
All right.
allow you to proceed with your incorrect list. What's next?
Number 7 is before we move to number 7, consider also that there has to be some educational quality. And if I only named animals that I had no familiarity with, I would not be able to give, it was like.
You have to be able to teach some amazing fact about the animal.
Something.
Got it. So it can't be boring.
Yeah.
Like a mosquito.
Yeah. But speaking of, I didn't actually give any specific information about the crocodile yet. It says the saltwater crocodile and Nile crocodile are the most dangerous. Those are the ones that kill most humans, usually in Southeast Asia and Africa.
Okay.
But there's also a crocodile called the mugger crocodile, which sounds pretty cool. So, okay.
Sounds like
number 7.
I don't really want to be acquainted with.
Like instead of killing you, he just takes your like wallet.
Yeah.
Jewelry. Okay, number 7 is the tsetse fly, which I had heard of before, but I had not like learned much of the tsetse fly. They're referred to like they're in Central Africa. They're like the worst, and they spread disease.
It's one specific disease, right? It's the sleeping sickness.
Right. The sleeping sickness, which kills lots of people. I have the number for that, but yeah, they eat blood. Blood sucking is like a main element of this list. If you feast on blood, you are certainly you were in the running. You were considered for this. Learn it from a layman list. These flies are. It says 6 to 16 millimeters in length, and yeah, they bite. What it says? They stiff, piercing mouth parts, held horizontally. Yeah, that's what latches into your skin, and they live 2 to 3 weeks, and they spread. They spread this sleeping sickness. Let me get the numbers on how many people die from that. But yeah, Western and Central Africa is the hot spot for the tsetse fly.
Yeah. Do we know, is there any kind of medication or vaccine for sleeping sickness? Because it seems like that would dramatically reduce, if it can be produced and distributed, that particular critter's, menace.
Correct. I'm looking right now.
It's a good thing we do our research beforehand and not in real time.
Well, I would be far more, anticipatory.
In the meantime, there was, during World War II, the British actually had 2 different versions of an aircraft. The baseline version was a fighter bomber and a photo reconnaissance plane. It could do couple different roles. It was called the mosquito. And as we know, the mosquito is one of the worst, top 10 worst critters. They had a particular version of the mosquito that they outfitted for anti-shipping duty. They fitted it with a 57 millimeter cannon, because why not do that? And used it to attack shipping just in the North Sea area. And after that modification was called the Tsetse modification. So there you go. Fun fact: the British like to name fighter planes after horrific creatures.
All right. Well, that inspires fear, I guess.
Yeah, I stalled. Now, what do we know about vaccines?
Okay, yes. So there is treatment, but it depends on how early you get there. They do have medication. So essentially, it's parasitical in nature. This sickness comes from a parasite, per usual. And if they treat it early enough, they can kill the parasite. If it progresses too far, they can't.
That's a problem.
Yeah. Okay. So if it's untreated, the death rate is almost 100%.
Ooh.
Yeah. So if you get it and don't get medical help, you're gone.
Okay.
So, and then I guess because the cases are generally in Central and Western Africa, the reporting isn't as good. And it's estimated to kill anywhere. And not that this is funny at all. Just the range of this is between 50 and 500,000 people die from this disease every year.
Wow.
It's a massive range.
It's an order of magnitude.
Exactly. Okay. So I'm guessing that's just because they can't they can't diagnose all the cases. I haven't been able to, but yes, if they catch it early enough, it says patients can fully recover with the treatments that they have.
Yeah,
so it really is about
around a place that has medical care. That's a problem. Okay.
Right. So
all right. So that one's suitably horrifying. What's next?
Yeah. Okay. Well, before we move, if you go to Central West Africa and you get bit, go in and get it treated, because you'll be fine if you do, but if you don't, you got a problem. So, okay, moving on. Number 6.
Number 6.
Matt, is the freshwater snail.
Okay, once again, don't go in the water, but the freshwater snail.
Correct.
Why a snail? A snail is annoying to find in your garden, but they're great for your fish tank.
Right. Well, the problem with freshwater snails is that they are hosts for parasites. Okay. And for this list purpose, that's one of the problems. The other problem is it looks like a slug. Anything that looks like a slug also on the short list for this list. So
looking like a slug gets you negative points, but is the actual slug itself on the list?
It is, yes.
The slug is on the list.
No, the slug is not on the list. The slug is not on the list because the freshwater snail,
objectively subjective.
The freshwater snails live, as their name would suggest, in fresh water. Well, who else lives on and in and around fresh water?
Lampreys, which are parasites.
Well, that's true, but also humans.
Okay.
And we bathe.
No, because we've explained to people that going in water is asking for lamprey and now freshwater snail parasites. So if no humans go in the water, they'll be fine.
That's true. If you stayed away from the water, you would not die. But they carry a parasitic worm called the schistosomiasis.
We are not going to get that one right, are we?
Nope, we're not. I'm not even going to try. I mean,
Hey, by the way, is that parasitic worm on the list?
Hey, we'll get there.
Okay.
But because of that parasite that this incredibly ugly creature carries, more than 200,000 people die a year. So
that's pretty bad.
Deadliness combined with ugly, combined with likelihood of interacting with it, boom, on the list. So
I feel like this one you've given a bad rap. It's like blaming the bus for the annoying kids that are on the bus.
But the bus driver...
I mean, the bus is ugly and slimy, but if the slug itself isn't even on, I don't know. Is there anything else that's slug-like that's on the list? Crocodiles are kind of long, flat, and low to the ground. They're not exactly slug-like.
Right. Well, hold on. This freshwater snail is it also, I don't know. Snails in general are ugly to me.
I am detecting a bit of personal bias here.
No, that's impossible.
So another thing for you to look up in real time, when we talk about snails and useful snails, some people eat snails. I think that's a horrible idea, but some people do it. Is the freshwater snail an edible type of snail, or is it like, is that not a use that it has available to it?
You can eat freshwater snails.
Uh-huh.
They obviously need to cook them because
Well,
then you're going to
yeah,
kill the parasite.
right.
But yes, they are edible. They are apparently frequently eaten in China, for example.
Oh, France was the big escargot place.
Yes. So kill if you eat a freshwater snail raw, you'll probably die.
Okay. So, I mean, that's another useful tip for people. Don't eat raw snails, which I can't believe is a tip that anyone would have to hear. But then again, somebody needed to hear about not eating a raw bat, so
It's
whatever.
true.
All right, spoilers, by the way. What's next?
Okay. Next one. We've got the Death Stalker scorpion.
Okay, I object to this one on the grounds that its name alone makes it too metal to qualify as a worst creature. The Death Stalker Scorpion, I think that actually is an album by some Norwegian group.
Probably. I mean, if it's not, it should be. They are. This is one of the most dangerous species of scorpions. Its venom is a powerful neurotoxin.
Okay.
And it wouldn't usually kill humans, but obviously it can. Young children and elderly are more likely to die if you get stung by a scorpion.
Well, that's the same as for elephant cuddling too, though.
That's true. Well, that turns out is true about everything. So,
all right. So, Deathstalker are they the most lethal in terms of you said it was a neurotoxin, right?
correct.
I don't know the difference between toxin, venom, and poison, but whatever it is that scorpions have, are they the most lethal?
This one is ranked second on some of the lists I saw.
Okay.
The Indian red scorpion, apparently number one, potentially.
Okay. Potentially.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good to have healthy competition.
Right. The Indian red scorpion probably would have outranked the Death Stalker scorpion because it's also bigger, which makes it like worse, nightmarish rating. But the name Death Stalker really took it over the top.
No, I object. Again, if you have a name that cool, that gets you something.
Yeah, it gets you on this list is what it does.
Very
Think of all the free publicity that I'm giving you.
Yeah. The list shared with all the other animals that have horrifying names like freshwater snail.
Look, okay, I didn't say I'd be consistent. It's not like I have a grading rubric here.
I love us.
Okay, but yes, neurotoxins, and they apparently are found throughout North Africa and the Middle East. So I've never seen one, and I have no plans to. But they are apparently. Interestingly, there's some evidence to show that components of the venom can be used to help aid the regulation of insulin to help treat diabetes. So
that's fascinating, and
it is. I
bet they would go great on nachos too, but I'm not going to try it.
I don't know that they would go well on nachos. A little soggy,
You never know until
substance.
You try.
Okay.
Your freshwater snail escargot with it. All right, what's next?
Okay, we are now on number 4. So we're approaching high, the worst bugs in the world.
Are they all bugs?
Well,
aren't they?
Bats are bugs. I have it on good authority.
Okay.
The number 4 is the vampire bat.
All right, I object again. It's too metal to be on the list, but whatever. Why is this on the list of worst creatures?
Yeah, there's so many reasons.
Why the vampire bat specifically, as opposed to all the other types of bats? The ones that actually live in your attic.
Yeah, a few reasons.
Okay.
First of all, let's start. Why would I put a bat on this list?
Yeah.
If you've never seen a picture of a bat, you probably are living a much happier life.
That is very subjective.
They are one of the ugliest creatures that is,
with their slug-like bodies.
Yeah, they're so ugly. I mean, in every conceivable fashion, this
is very hurtful.
We're really losing our bat enthusiasts.
There's
audience.
A lot more bat enthusiasts than you'd think. Have you heard of a guy named Batman? He has a fan club.
Yeah. If Batman looked like a real bat, I promise they wouldn't have made movies.
Well, they actually made a... Okay, never mind. We don't need to go into DC lore. Anyway, before we get copyright strikes,
so that's number one reason. Okay, and then mice. Mice are really ugly, right? They're really bad. I mean, some mice can be kind of cute,
little fuzzballs.
Well, until they are like trailing feces behind them.
Okay, sure, but bats kill and eat mice, so that's a win for you, right?
Right, but they have wings. They're like mice with wings. That's the worst.
Okay, right? You've lost me here. I'm detecting personal bias and phobias here.
I do. Okay, I was once attacked by a bat.
Huh?
I'm not like the Office style. Like I
wasn't. Was it a vampire bat?
I don't believe so, though I didn't ask him, or her. When I was in Suriname, we had a bat fly into the apartment where I lived and wreak havoc, and it was not nice. It was that is unquestionably one of the reasons that this is number 4, but that's not the only reason. Personal bias, not the only reason. They are, a vampire bat. Once again, I already said earlier on the podcast, if blood is your food source, you're like right on the line of getting on this list, and you just need a couple things to push you on. And so the fact that the vampire bats, their food source is the blood of other animals, boom, you're in. You're a bat and you drink blood. Yeah,
now, bats are ubiquitous, though. Everybody has been around a bat.
That's true.
And except mosquitoes drink blood, and you've had way more bad experiences with mosquitoes than you have with bats.
That's true, but they're rarer. Your interactions with a bat will be a couple times in your life, probably.
Okay.
You might see one in the dark, fly, but your actual
I think that makes them less terrible. I mean, sure, a bat's going to be annoying, but I'm only going to have to deal with it maybe twice in my life. The mosquitoes there every day.
Right, but once again, it's the nightmarish factor of like something that haunts your dreams. I mean, why is Batman a bat? Right, because it's scary. He's not Mosquito Man. He's not Mosquito Man. Could you imagine they wouldn't make Mosquito Man a movie?
Yeah, because everybody's afraid of mosquitoes, whereas only criminals are afraid of bats. Okay, and our audience, being the upstanding people that they are not going to go for that. So, yeah.
Well, you make this list yourself sometime. I'm telling you. Okay.
Out of curiosity, how many fatalities a year from vampire bats?
So they can carry rabies, and if you've seen The Office before, you know that. There are...
Our audience is too young to know what The Office is.
So you think so? I think most people know what The Office. Okay. Anyway, in Latin America, I don't have the total number, but in Latin America, there were 55 cases a number of years ago.
I'm
so
actually
we're
surprised
talking
by that.
Yeah.
Was
so
it
obviously,
like disease related? I mean, it wasn't like the vampire bat landed on them and sucked their blood dry and they died.
no, they got rabies.
Rabies. Okay.
Rabies. Yeah. um. Yeah.
All right.
That's
Well,
been
disease
estimated.
carrier. That's less metal. So okay. Now that said, humans kill bats too. I mean, Ozzy Osbourne.
What?
Never
Something
mind.
I'm not familiar with. Okay.
Our audience is too young to know that. I hope.
Yeah. Oh, holy cow! What? Sorry, I was just looking up how many people die as a result of directly in the world as a
Real-time
direct.
research. You
Oh,
get
yeah, that's
only
what
the
we do.
best from Learn It from a Layman. All right. What's next?
Yeah. All right. Fine. I'm just telling you that the number of human deaths is somewhere between 1,000 and 100,000.
What, for
Seems
bats?
well, apparently.
For all bats.
Specifically vampire bats.
That seems awfully high.
It seems wild to me. I can't. I cannot verify, but I can report. So.
And that's all that matters in this world of misinformation and questionable tweets and things.
Look, I'm getting my information from the National Institute of Health. So.
Okay. All right. Fine. All right. What's
exactly.
number 3 then? I assume it's the black mamba, something that's really deadly, right?
Okay. I do need to address the controversy that will inevitably arise as a result of the fact that on this list there are 0 snakes.
No snakes.
0.
So bats, which are cute little fuzzballs that fly, like
they're
magic
not cute
fuzzballs, they get to be on the list. But snakes, which are to many people made of nightmares themselves,
True.
aren't on the list.
Correct.
I don't mind snakes, but I know a lot more people mind snakes than mind.
Part of the reason that
crocodiles.
Snakes...
I was going to say lampreys, but that's only because nobody knows what those are.
Yeah, well, exactly. Part of the reason that snakes are not on this list is that there are no snakes that, like, unprovoked attack humans.
Okay, is that true? I feel like the mambas do.
In my research, I thought I saw that there were no snakes that attack humans unless they are provoked.
Uh-huh.
That is probably the main reason they're not on the list, and the other reason, of course, is they don't feed on blood. So
okay,
boom.
So because there's no vampire snake, they get a pass. Got it. Like as opposed to the vampire crocodile.
Okay, hold on. But that is once again, that is on the list because it's a living dinosaur.
Whereas snakes have never existed in, the prehistoric, Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous.
The snakes were trumped by the lamprey. The lamprey worse than snakes. Snakes off the list.
So what's number 3 then?
Okay, back to the list. We're looking at the Australian funnel web spider.
The Australian funnel web spider. Okay.
I know people are waiting for the spider because the spider has to show up on the list. It's ugly. It's creepy. And while it's might not
metal, some of them can be tarantulas.
Yeah, and I was really looking for a reason to leave spiders off the list like I did snakes because it's just too obvious. I mean, come on. But like some spiders actually apparently do. There have been at least reported cases of spiders attacking humans unprovoked. I don't know. They're also have 8 legs. I mean, that's not natural.
The fact that it's found in nature kind of counters that point, but whatever. It's unnatural.
Yeah, that's the worst.
All right.
Shouldn't be around.
Too many legs. Got it.
Correct. They are Not very large, these Australian funnel web spiders. They're, as the name would indicate, in Australia, which, by the way, and Tasmania, where we have listeners. At least we did before this kind of longer break that we took. It's summer, our listeners. So forgive me, I have other things to do, as does Matt. Of course, Matt does the other things while he's also doing the podcast. So,
Anyway,
yes.
So what's so horrific about the funnel web spider, though?
They're just super deadly.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do they serve any kind of actual use, like controlling the wallaby population, or?
I don't think so.
Dingoes.
They're viewed by scientists as most deadly, both in for like number of cases that a number of deaths and the toxicity of the venom. So.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just pretty bad for humans. And let's see, the bites from the funnel web spider have caused, from a specific. There are, I guess, apparently 6 different types of funnel web spiders in Australia because it's Australia.
Seems unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. But there have been 13 documented cases of human deaths from that type of spider.
That's way less than number 9, the humble mosquito, though.
Well, a mosquito is...
It's everywhere, whereas spiders are not everywhere.
Well, you have to consider the Australian funnel web spider.
Okay, that's almost a fair point.
And yes, there are not a lot of deaths from the funnel web spider, but the idea that this spider exists and that it can kill you, and that you're not going to interact with it frequently, and it has 8 legs and like these little pincher things on its head, and it's real ugly. And all of those
the brown recluse? Isn't that the most deadly in North America?
I consider the brown recluse because it's really bad, but
the Australian funnel web is worse.
Right, more toxicity wise, correct.
More exotic for us North American types.
That's correct. I was really pandering to the Australian audience as well.
Yeah. So one thing that I've noticed so far is that of our top 10 worst creatures, the 8 that we've discussed are all found, in nature, outside. So it seems the easy answer to this is never go into the water, but also never go outside.
I'm guessing that our Australian listeners would tell you that they probably can and do find spiders in their home.
Okay, never go outside, and also never go inside in Australia.
Yeah,
never go to Australia.
That's fair. Yeah, exactly. All right, next. Second, we're almost at the end of this list. For those of you that have stuck around this long and are either entertained or are very, very sad.
None of them are.
Okay, this one is the assassin bug, also known as the kissing bug. Though there's a whole family of bugs.
Yeah, one of those does sound pretty metal. The other one doesn't. Assassin bug, I can kind of get behind. Kissing bug, Yeah,
well, the kissing bug, the assassin bug, they're very deadly bugs.
Deadly to what?
Humans.
Oh, okay.
And they suck blood.
Oh,
and once again, as soon as we start talking about type bugs that suck blood and cause death, we are near the top of the list. And then you're widespread, but you're not that widespread. And there is something else. Oh, the name, of course.
Okay.
Assassin bug. I mean, come on. Like, that's self-promotion. That's just wonderful. And a kissing bug, it doesn't sound scary, but when it's a kiss of death, like friggin' the Harry Potter, what are those?
I don't think this is a Dementor bug, but
I think it might be a Dementor bug.
All right. So where do you find the kissing bug, the kiss of death bug?
Yeah, let me
Time
pull
research.
that page up. I had it. I've got it here. Okay. United States, Mexico, Central America, and South America. So mostly North America, and some in South America, I guess. Is it lower 28 states?
Okay, so this is a drier climate or a warmer climate bug?
Yes, I believe so. It does not usually go up, into cold climates.
Okay, is it an insect?
It is. Yes. They're usually half an inch to an inch long, so not super large. Okay. And yeah, they can transmit the disease called Chagas disease.
Oh, okay. Is that their kill mechanism?
Correct.
All right.
Yeah. So that's their vector for that. Yeah, exactly. So that's how they kill, is by being a vector for that disease. And yeah, the assassin bug, I think, is the same family of bug, but yeah, it's kind of like, bugs all get lumped into different sizes of or different. I don't know.
So this one spreads the disease, though. Is this one that's also treatable, or
Chagas?
Yeah.
That's a good question, and the answer is, it's once again, it's a medication, and so if you get treatment early enough, you'll be fine.
Okay.
So modern medicine to the rescue once again. Yeah. And because it's largely, a North American bug, I don't think there aren't a lot of deaths.
Yeah. So why is this one rated so much more highly than like the tsetse fly with its kill count up in the 500,000 range?
The tsetse fly. Why is this one higher than the tsetse fly?
Yeah.
On my list. Yeah. The name.
Oh, assassin bug. Okay,
correct.
Got it. I see.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Well,
I mean,
we are nothing if not objectively subjective. So.
Yeah.
What else you got for us?
Okay. So this bug kills somewhere around 12,000 people a year, which is actually higher than I thought it was going to be.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So it's not something to mess around with, but we do have medication for it apparently, and you just need to get treatment. So. All right, last one, number one, drum roll, which I don't think I could actually add to the podcast, but I won't, is the Ascaris roundworm.
This sounds like another parasite.
It is.
Okay.
Which you would think, that's unfair. You put a lot of bugs on here that are only deadly because they carry parasites, and now you're taking a parasite and putting it as number one.
This sounds like an argument I made to you before we started.
But this type of parasitic worm, it infects somewhere between 807 to 1.2 billion people worldwide.
Okay, that's
number
1/8 of the human race.
Exactly, 1 billion people. And do you want to know how big it is? Do you want to know how big it is?
Sure. Yes.
We're talking 6 to 12 inches long.
Ugh.
Correct.
And it just gets inside, I assume, through water contamination or something, and it grows to that length?
Correct. Inside of you, usually in your intestine, though apparently it can go in other parts of your body as well.
All right. Well, that's horrifying. It could be in the room with us right now. Is it confined to a specific location?
In the world, you mean?
It's just planet Earth. Okay.
Oh, no. Locations. I think this is mostly, it's Asia and sub-Saharan Africa, but also in the Americas. So I kind of an equal opportunity offender, but I guess it's uncommon in the United States, but yes, it is. It's here as well. And Yeah, parasitic worms are the stuff of nightmare, and then just the sheer size of these, and how many people it infects, and the fact that it very happily targets humans. Yeah, it says you swallow the eggs, they pass into your intestines, they hatch into larvae and begin to travel through your body.
Okay, yeah, but what do they actually do?
So here you go. First sign of infection might be seeing a live worm in your vomit or poop.
Okay, well, that would be less fun.
If you get them in your lungs, they will cause a sickness similar to pneumonia.
All right, that sounds a lot less fun.
Yeah, and then if they reach your intestines as full-grown worms, you're going to have intense abdominal symptoms like nausea, vomiting, swelling, and then it can stunt the growth in children. Yeah, and then I mean they can kill you. So
okay, all right. So you're making an adequate case for these things, then.
yeah. So
that does sound
I
worse
think
than the crocodile.
yeah, and if you look at it them once again and think this thing, the eggs go inside of you, a billion people in the world, and hatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, try to sleep tonight. Good luck.
Well, that's not
And
the point for this thing. We want people to. Oh, never mind.
no, do we? Okay, but yes, it's somewhere. But despite the huge number of infections, it's uncommon to die from it. It's
right.
You're talking somewhere between 2 and 10,000 people die each year.
So. Okay, still more than we want, but
correct.
I assume the best treatment for this is to eat just like ghost peppers or something.
I did look up the treatment. Treatment is yeah, different types of medications that just anti-parasitic medications. So I know when I lived in Suriname, we were treated with parasite medication, which is, I don't know if they've made progress. The last time I had one of these pills was, I don't know, 18 years ago. They are the worst pills in the world. They're large, which whatever. I mean, you can swallow them.
Mm-hmm.
If the pill touches your tongue, you will taste metal for days.
So, is this more personal bias where the severity is not only because they're gross, but also because they made you take unpleasant pills forever?
Well, a little bit of exposure myself may have had some influence on the likelihood
that's why
that they found them.
crocodiles are on the list, because of all the times you had to wrestle dinosaurs in your backyard.
Well, I have had not severe interactions with crocodiles, but minor interactions. So
the zoo does not count.
Okay, it wasn't a crocodile; it was a caiman, which they're all just a family of like dinosaurs, as far as I'm concerned. The caiman, once again, in Suriname, little guys, but I mean, we're talking 24 inches long, maybe 3 feet.
Yeah.
But they live in the gutters along the side of the roads, and those gutters will and do flood on a pretty regular basis when in the rainy season, and then you're just beholden to whatever comes out of those gutters. Maybe it's by your foot, maybe it's not. And so yes,
so once again, you get around this by not going in the water and also not going outside or to Australia or to
Suriname,
Africa, North America, South America,
Mars,
Asia.
It is.
I think we haven't really hit anything that was Europe specific, have we?
Or Iceland. Iceland really is a nice place. You know?
Yeah.
I've been there. I did
They've
like
got water in Iceland, though.
Yeah, they also are like fully powered by geothermal energy, which is pretty cool. So
anyway.
Okay. On that note, we're going to finish up. We'll probably have a good fact-based podcast in the near future.
Are these going to be objective facts or more of the standard type of fact?
You know, whatever we feel like. But yeah, hope this was slightly educational and somewhat entertaining, and we'll be back again soon. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, all.